Are we good? One's in the chat if we're good. It just had another window open. I guess it was playing my video from another window. One's in the chat if we're good now. Okay. We are good now. Sorry for the technical difficulties. I mean, nobody else is in the call right now. People can join later. I'm trying to pop off real quick. But, yeah, it's been a while since I made a video. Hair is freaking long as hell. Jesus. It's definitely time to trim it up a bit. Probably about to take 2, 3, 4 inches off. Got a wedding to go to this weekend, so getting it done on Tuesday. It's long. It's about time. It's about time to get a little bit off, and it's summertime. It is hot as hell, so I don't think we need all of this hair. That's just me though. So, what's new before we get into this video as we let people pop on in? Nothing's really new, you know, just enjoying the summer. Rastafarian life. Nothing's really new. We're just enjoying the summer, enjoying the traveling, enjoying Six Flags, enjoying the pool, enjoying the beach. It's hot. But regardless of which, we are enjoying it. So, hopefully y'all are enjoying it too. You know, this is a time people want to go out, have fun, relax, not work as much. Been playing the mess out of Killing Floor 3, and what do we got? We already got 40 hours in the Killing Floor 3, and probably about a good 10, 12 hours of that is me leaving the computer on and me stepping outside, and unfortunately I was out all night, didn't come back till late while I left it on, but I would say I probably put at least a good 25 hours into it. And already got 28 out of 33 achievements unlocked and never even looked it up before. And unlike other podcasts who complain that I don't play new games, I believe they have not played this one. Because every one of them is still on my Steam's friend list, and I don't see one of them playing this game. Real quick thing on Killing Floor 3. Is it worth 70? No. Is it worth 60? No. Is it worth 50? No. But if you're looking for a $40 game to keep your ass inside on a weekend, to casually enjoy with some friends, in hopes that they may or may not put more content down the road, well, Killing Floor is your game. Me and my friends like Helldivers is our third-person game. And now we're playing Killing Floor as our first-person multiplayer game. I play Medic because I can't trust anybody else to heal. You can even ask IC Rhythms, you can even ask Antimartyr, you can even ask Blacktooth, you can even ask Hard 8 if he remembers the old beam. How do I heal? How do I heal? Been a while, but you know, Summer Heat took unusually long to arrive, but it is unusually brutal. Yeah, it's brutal, and we are at Rastafarian length. So that's what I've been playing, you know, definitely need to get into some Legend of Heroes, but I don't feel like starting one of those games in the summertime. We have Full Frontal Sinanju over in the corner, but that's going to be saved for a rainy day. Outside of that, y'all know the rules. I'm about to hop on in here and do this stream right now. You got the comment section on the bottom. Anybody that wants to come in here and, you know, speak their truth, speak their spiel, or whatever they want to do later on, you are more than welcome to come on in after I get mine off. Pause. But today we're going to be talking about something I've been talking about for a while. And let me bring up some articles because, you know, I've seen the Dreamcast guy talk about it. Fratanga, I mean, according to Google's talking about it. Spawnway's talking about it. This is looking exactly like I've been saying it's going to look. And you know, when these games started coming up on the PlayStation 5 that are showing up on the PC, and they're coming, you know, 2 years later, then a year later, then 6 months later, now multiplayer games are coming day and date. It was getting to the point where I'm like, why do I own this PlayStation? Why? I mean, I'm looking at Ghost of Yote. I'm excited to play it. I'm going to stream the whole thing just like I streamed Ghost of Tsushima. We will stream the whole thing back and forth. What's up, War Machine Guy? And then I realized, am I really pressed to play Ghost of Yote day one? Is it a good game? Yeah. But am I pressed that I want to play the game day one? Because I could easily hop into other games in the backlog, some Legend of Heroes games. I could come back a year later and buy the game on PC. Did I hit the page up button again? I killing myself. Stream dead, yep. Hit the page up button again. Don't know why I keep doing that. I swear, one of these days, somebody remind me, I'm going to change it from page up, page down. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Stop hitting the page up. You know what? I'm just gonna put a sheet of paper right over it right now, so I can't even mess with it. Because I swear to God, I keep doing it. But before the stream cut out, what I was saying is this. Ghost of Yote. Definitely a game I want to get. Definitely a game I want to stream. Definitely a game I want to play through front to finish. Just like Ghost of Tsushima. I played that game on stream front to finish. And in fact, I can go back and say Sony has released a lot of games I have streamed front to finish. Spider-Man, Ghost of Tsushima, God of War, Uncharted, or I'm sorry, not Uncharted, The Trash of Us Part 2. That's 5 games on the PlayStation that I've streamed front to finish, beginning to end, in their complete entirety. And I kind of like that because Sony was making, their games are very good for streaming. They're linear, they're cinematic, they have tons of cutscenes which let you breathe. They're high quality. There's nothing wrong with these games. But now we're at the point where these games are coming to PC. And I'm looking at my shelf. And every game I just named you is on PC now. And now I'm thinking about Ghost of Yote. Do I get it day one? Or do I just go and play other games? Do I go and play Legend of Heroes? Do I go and play other RPGs? Do I come back a year later and play the game on better settings, smoother frame rate, and everything else on my PC? On the PC. Is there really a point? So that begs the question, because I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I've told Jack this. I've said it on Weapon Wheel a lot as well. I have said that if I knew for a shadow of that, without a shadow of a doubt, that PlayStation games were coming to PC in under a year, there is no point in buying a PlayStation 6. There is none. There's absolutely none. Why would I spend $500, $600, up to $800, because you know the price is going to be high on the PlayStation 5, when I could just wait and buy it on the PC? Or hell, might not even need to wait to get it on PC, because as we're seeing right now, Sony is trying to put games on the Switch, on Steam. They have them on Epic Game Store and Xbox. This is what I've been hearing. And I know it sounds crazy, put the wellness check out for Jack Move Johnny and everything, but this is definitely serious. And if it goes like I'm thinking it's going to go, and it happens like I think it's going to happen, then I really don't see any reason why any grown adult would own a PlayStation. Because we're at the point, and when I mean grown adults, I mean people in the know, people that are on YouTube. Because right now, most people game on PC in this community. I don't know many people who don't game on PC. So to think that this is going to happen is going to be a blow. And if you think it's not going to be a blow, look at Xbox. Well, look what happened with Microsoft. Now, it's completely different why Sony games don't sell on PC, because they don't come day and date, and they just get the stragglers that don't get the game on PlayStation on PC. But now that we know these games are 1,100% coming to the PC, oh, now we got a whole new ball game. So, let's look at some of these articles. Bring them up. Sony is following Microsoft's multi-platform strategy, looking to acquire a bigger third-party publishing footprint across PC and even rival consoles. Over the last year, Microsoft leapt first into the controversial decision regarding the first-party games that are coming out onto other previously exclusive titles onto rival platforms like Forza Horizon. And Forza has already sold 2 million on PlayStation, if I'm recollecting correctly. At the time of Xbox efforts to give up on the console war and console exclusive looked like a swan song for the embattled platform, Microsoft's Xbox hardware sales continue to look bleak. On paper, faced with relentless competition from PlayStation and Nintendo, however, fast forward a few months and things are looking a bit different. And I kind of agree they're looking different because, if I'm not mistaken, Microsoft is the #1 third-party publisher, if not the largest, most successful publisher of games right now. Despite weak hardware sales overall, Xbox continues to post record console playtime hours, buoyed by the string of high-quality releases and expansions into other markets like the cloud, PlayStation, and PC. So here we have a little article right here about executing the global commercial strategy for PlayStation Studio software titles across all digital platforms beyond PlayStation hardware. And that to me sounds crazy. I mean, look, I'm going to be the first one to say right now, I was wrong. I said that, Sony need to get out these colonizers, these Europeans, these Americans, bring back the Japanese back to the forefront and back to the front office. And who's their president right now? What's his name? PlayStation president and CEO. That would be Hideki Nishino. And if my Japanese is correct, that's not a white guy. That's not a European guy. That is a full-blown, full-born native Japanese man. And they're going with the same strategy. Oh, it's Hiroki Totoki? I don't know. Regardless of which, if it's Hiroki or Hideki, if it's Tanoki or Nishino, it's not a white dude. It's not an American guy. It's not a European guy. These are straight up Japanese dudes. And now I can't, make the excuse that this is an American thought process. They're following what Microsoft is doing. They're thinking short term. They're not looking at the long term. This is what Sony is doing. And this is kind of crazy if you ask me. So they are once again planning, let's read this. They're hiring job listings for senior director in multi-platform and account management, which describes a variety of responsibilities specific to Xbox and PC. If they're hiring somebody that's multi-platform, that's definitely beyond the scope of Nixus. Nixus is just PC and PlayStation. Multi-platform, they're going far and beyond. And if they're hiring somebody for account management, that would mean that they once again want you, or they're trying to manage you, having to be able to log into different PlayStation accounts across multiple platforms. Now, I don't know if they're going to still require that on PC, because you know how us PC guys are, but according to this, they might be instituting that on Xbox and Switch, which might be weird because I know Sony does not want Microsoft's logins or their Xbox Live on the PlayStation. I don't know if Switch, I don't know if games like Forza or Gears will acquire it or require it, or does anybody know if Forza requires an Xbox login? I don't know. So, PlayStation says the applicant will oversee the out-of-year mid-range commercial strategy for PlayStation Studios across all non-PlayStation platforms, driving long-term revenue growth and audience reach. I don't think this is a good long-term strategy, Sony, but that's just me. Furthermore, overview describes specifically moving PlayStation Studio titles beyond PlayStation hardware, listing Steam, Epic Games, Nintendo Switch, mobile, and Xbox One. Reporting to the Vice President Commercial Management as Senior Director of Multiplatform and Account Management, you will play a critical leadership role in shaping and executing the global commercial strategy for PlayStation Studios, software titles across all digital platforms. This role is accountable for optimizing title profitability, ensuring cross-functional alignment, and leading a higher performing team focused on multi-platform expansion, mid-range commercial planning, and platform partner management. Holy shit. That is complete third party, complete global saturation, separating the wheat from the chaff. Sony is launching Ouroboros into the atmosphere. And if you haven't played Resident Evil 5, that's one of my favorite games. Crappy Resident Evil, great game. So, Sony. Who is screaming at you? Y'all hearing this? Anyway, it's right up there, people. They are putting their games, Epic, Steam, Xbox, Nintendo, mobile. They're putting their games everywhere. They're hiring people to account for optimizing title profitability, which means they're definitely putting everything elsewhere. Cross-functional alignment, meaning they want their games to be played everywhere, connected everywhere. And yes, you Xbox and PlayStation and PC gamers, just like Helldivers, will probably be playing with and against each other. And then you have the account management. Well, yeah, they're definitely going to have multi-platform games, cross-play games, cross-account games. Oh, man. This is looking crazy. What's going on, Brian? How you doing today?
I'm doing okay. I like to ask, you live right now, right?
I am live.
Oh, hey everybody.
What'd you have to add out of
How you,
curiosity?
so how you been, buddy?
What
You been, man?
audience, can you guys hear him
Awesome.
properly? One's in the chat if you can hear him. Let me just get through a couple other lines and then I'll let you in real quick, okay?
All right.
All right, so I'm gonna let Brian speak. I just want to finish off a couple things before he adds in his 2 cents. I mean, my complete take on this, I did not think this was going to happen. Putting games on PC. Actually, no, I lied. I did think this was going to happen because again, this is a slippery slope. Once you start putting games on PC, anything is fair game. Once you start putting games day and date on PC, everything is fair game. Now, it used to be different when Sony had SOE, Sony Online Entertainment. The games that they would put on PC and consoles would be, the Planet Sides, the DC Universe Onlines, the EverQuest. Basically, computer-centric games that they were like, hey, the consoles are strong enough to run Planet Side 2 now, we'll put it on. The consoles are strong enough to run DC Universe Online, we'll put it on. But primarily, Sony had an arm that was developing PC games, and these PC games were then ported to console. Now they want these console games day and date on PC. And while I think that this is going to be good short term, they'll make good money, and maybe they're doing this because Xbox just can't compete. I mean, it's already a wrap, but long term, I don't see this as a good idea, especially as time goes forward and technological upgrades become less and less noticeable, which gives Nintendo a bigger advantage. Nintendo is launching a new console, and you are giving it the advantage of having not only Xbox's games on it, but now PlayStation's games on it. And we're talking about reaching the casual. To me, it just seems like the casual is just going to go Switch all day, and the more hardcore gamers are going to go with the PC.
And that's what it's looking like now. The way things are looking, it's gonna be soon just PC and Switch.
I mean, that's what happened with the Xbox. People didn't think it was going to happen. I'm like, look, gamers aren't dumb. Like, eventually, you want to go where the best go and where it is the best to play. And the PlayStation guys, they're going to get upset. They're going to get mad. I mean, they're not even going to have the best place to play their games. Not only that, they'll be paying to play online, while the PC gamers are going to be playing for free. It's going to be a similar situation to that of the Xbox, where PlayStation gamers become second-class citizens in a third-world country of PlayStation, compared to the PC gamers eating first world, playing the best version of Sony's games, not paying to play online, having mods, having features, it's the same thing that happened with Xbox. And people saying that, well, Nintendo might do it. Nintendo's never going to go third party or put their games.
They dreaming if they think so.
Oh, 1000%. Now, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I remember Nintendo on the lowest of the low, on N64, on GameCube, on port it from Wii because the graphics are sucking, on the Wii U is failing, that, they want Nintendo to go third party, but Nintendo has said from the very beginning they will exit gaming before they go third party. They will be out this bitch before it goes third party. That's something that they're not going to do. It's not in their DNA. And I honestly, quite frankly, worry about Sony's stature globally now, and especially in Japan, because they are absolutely irrelevant in Japan. They got rid of Japan studios. They don't make any games that appeal to Japanese customers. They don't make any games that appeal to Japanese consumers. Final Fantasies, the Dragon Quest, all those games are now going to be on the Switch too. You don't need to own a PlayStation for the next Dragon Quest. You don't need to own a PlayStation for the next Final Fantasy. You won't need to own a PlayStation for any of the next big Japanese games. Japan is now going to solely be dominated by Nintendo and the Switch 2. Which leaves Sony being nothing more than a glorified Xbox, and the Xbox at its absolute best. And now they're Xbox at their absolute worst, because they're going to be doing exactly what Microsoft is doing by putting their games on the PC. It is what it is. Like, there's no chance I buy a PlayStation 6 now. There's nothing. And, you can't even say, oh, but, it's going to have the DualSense 2 or the DualShock 6. You can use all these controllers on the PC now. There literally is nothing. It's not for a Blu-ray player, because, we have streaming and stuff now, and anybody can just buy a $50 Blu-ray player. Like, there is zero incentive to ever buy a PlayStation for me ever again. You can chime in now if you want. Who's sending me messages here?
Yeah, at this point, the way I feel about it, if I'm gonna like save money, if I'm gonna buy something like play games, most of it's gonna be PC. And if I want to play Nintendo, it'll be Nintendo Switch too.
Yeah, I mean, I would just upgrade my PC with that $5, 6, 7, $800 or whatever the PlayStation 6 is gonna cost.
Because all this console war stuff is dead, man.
Oh, it's over. It's done. 1000% done.
I'm gonna miss it. It was fun back then, but
Nintendo won. It's over.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that does bother and worry me though is this. And I know the Great Exposer would definitely say that if he was in here. We are about to go into an era of gaming where we're not about to see any kind of innovation. Period. Before, these console manufacturers are trying to sell hardware. They're trying to compete with other platforms. Nintendo had Mario. Sony came out with Sonic. Nintendo got Final Fantasy. Sega came out with Phantasy Star. Nintendo got Final Fight. Sega came out with Streets of Rage. Like, it's a yin and a yang. Tekken, Virtual Fighter, Dead or Alive, like all Halo, Killzone, Forza, Gran Turismo, all of these amazing games and franchises came out because one company, one hardware manufacturer had it, the other didn't, so they had to make a game that could compete. Now there's no more market differentiation. There's no more competition. There's no more need to innovate. It's just put out a game, probably upcharge as much as you can, $80, put it to crazy levels of loot boxes and all kinds of weirdo crazy stuff, and ship it, call it a day. Like the people were even saying, they're just out here trying to maximize profit. Nobody is really out here trying to make a good game. Like Nintendo is talking about, we're trying to make good games, we're trying to lower development cost cycles. And you know what? That might also be a reason why we don't see a lot of competitive games anymore. It's like, think about it this way, right? If Halo came out now, let's just say Halo 1 came out now, it would have spent 4 years in development. It would have gone from the Macintosh over to the PC, and then over to Xbox, and then it would have had to take a year to be successful. So it would probably take anywhere between 3 and 5 years for a game to come out and be successful, and then the hold on one second, and then the other companies would have to react. So you're looking at like a 4 to 6 year period now to react to a competitor's game being successful. Whereas, in 16-bit era, 32-bit era, 64-bit era, you can make a game in a year or two. If somebody made a hot game on our platform in a year, you can make your own rendition to combat it and come back the very next year. You can't do that now.
Well, shoot, I'll throw you one better, Bond. The only innovative you're going to get is from those indie companies and indie titles now.
Yeah. And the problem with that is, look at Killing Floor 3. The indie titles have to do one of three things to survive. Get uber successful, like Expedition 33. You have to sign off with a publisher that's going to want to monetize the hell out of your game so they can receive some profit back. Or you're going to have to do like what a Killing Floor 3 did and just put insane monetization options in the game to keep yourself afloat.
Mm-hmm.
Not looking good for gaming. And, this is the generation of gaming where I heard that it was the best generation of gaming ever, that it was the most fun generation of gaming ever, yet this is the generation I see the least exclusives, the least innovation, the most problems, the most glitches, the most games getting canceled, the most live service games getting shut down. Like, what are we doing here? We're doing nothing more but consolidating more and more and more, and there's just going to be less and less and less room.
Yeah, it's getting pretty bad out here in gaming.
Well, back when you was in the weapon wheel thing, I was one of the few people who kept saying that it was going to be like a very stifling, when it comes to gaming.
Yeah, I don't really keep up with them. I can imagine Jack is pretty damn pissed off. I can imagine Smooth is pretty much laughing. I could probably imagine BG doesn't care because he's just going to buy a Pro or whatever and play the games day one, then rebuy them on PC. But, dude's a father now, right? I assume that's what I've been hearing. But let's just say you had a kid, I had a kid, whoever has a kid. Like, is it really your incentive now and your priority now to want to play games day one? Is it really going to hurt you now that you're a family man to wait 6 months, 3 months to a year to play a game when you got other shit to do and other shit to prioritize? Like, our generation of gamers is moving to like a different stratosphere where like waiting isn't a problem, especially when you're getting the better product.
Yeah, and it depends on what types of games you're playing. Like, of course, if you're playing something that's like an MMO or certain, like some type of like service game, there's always something going on constantly. Then yeah, I could see that. But like you like RPGs, I like RPGs.
Me too.
We could just wait. We just wait to the freaking Game of the Year edition or whatever, and then they got all the stuff together.
That's a good point because one of the main reasons why I owned a PlayStation was the Japanese RPGs. But now all the Japanese RPGs more or less come day and day to PC, and now even the bigger ones come to PC. PC probably gets more JRPGs than any individual platform. Now it's I don't need a PlayStation anymore. Sometime eventually I'll get a Switch too. So, I'll just play my Japanese RPGs on the PC or on the Switch. It's actually better for me because then I can actually play them portably, whether it's on my PC, on my Switch, or even the Steam Deck. So, the Steam
Right.
Deck can. This Japanese RPGs really aren't too demanding. And whether I play it natively on the Steam Deck or I just mirror it and stream it to the Steam Deck in my apartment, how what's that PlayStation thing called, the Go or the Portal? Like, yeah, even the Steam Deck obliterates what the Portal does, and you can get the Steam Deck way cheaper than the Portal now. I know the Portal has a 1080p screen, but the Steam Deck actually has its own native hardware. And what does the Steam Deck go for nowadays?
It goes for about 600, probably to three.
Yeah,
Depends on what storage you get.
hold on, was that somebody's smoke detector?
On me.
Not for me either.
I heard it. I know I'm not going crazy. No, I thought the Steam Deck was cheaper than that. So yeah, that wouldn't be a good comparison. I guess because I just see them online and I see them
One thing I had to say. Oh, good.
I see them on my Facebook group, or not Facebook group, but you ever like the Facebook Marketplace and just like browse things? I always see people trying to sell it dirt cheap up there, so I don't know, maybe that's why, but I just don't see what PlayStation is offering now. Like, you can't say, oh, I like the controller, get an 8-bit Do controller, or just use your PlayStation controller on PC. Like, unless you just don't want to deal with the PC, you just want something like. I just don't see how you could sell someone on a console anymore.
Well,
Well,
my
it is
situation's
there,
kind of
man. Okay, man.
no. So I was gonna say my situation is kind of different than some others because I'm a person that cares about like game preservation and stuff. So I would like to have physical copies, but that could be a catch-22 on its own right because you don't know some of these companies now they're not even giving the actual stuff on the disc. So it's like no point if they're gonna go that route. You might as well just stick to PC.
Another crazy thing is this, with like the consoles doing downloads. What was that game that came on Xbox? Was it Doom or something? It was just like a disc on a code on a disc or something, or a download on a disc. I don't particularly remember what game it was, but between that and like the Switch 2 game key cards, I would much rather put my faith in Steam for, even though it's all digital, I'd much rather put my faith in Steam for game preservation than I would with Nintendo or any of these other companies. Because Steam has already said if they go out of business, they go down, your whole library and all your licenses will go to you, and you can download all your games, you can copy them on. I mean, you could still. I don't know anybody who does it anymore because it's kind of irrelevant. But you can literally download all your Steam games, like their executables and everything, onto a disc, onto your hard drive, whatever. Nobody does it anymore, but people used to do it way back in the day.
So they officially say that because that was one of the reasons why I didn't mess with Steam because I prefer GOG is because it's DRM free.
Yeah, Steam has always said that. I mean, look, all these companies, they can switch up at a moment's notice. I mean, who really knows? But like, just for example, like the Deadpool games and other games that have been delisted, as long as you own them, you can still download them from Steam. So they've never given me any reason to. Steam has never really given me any reason to distrust it. So, J-Man with the super chat. Most people don't want to play games on consoles, so as long as they have even timed exclusivity, people will want a PlayStation. I don't know, J-Main, because timed exclusivity on PlayStation, right? I would say that Forza was timed exclusivity on Xbox, and I don't see any sales data of Forza on Xbox, but I see about 2 million copies sold on PlayStation. And the fact that you're buying a PlayStation for time exclusivity only, what's that really saying? I'm about to spend. Look, I keep saying this hypothetical price point. I'm going between $500 and $800. I'm not spending $500 to $800 for time exclusivity. That seems foolish. I'm sorry. I mean,
And for a lesser version of the game.
that too. I mean, say what you will about the Switch 2. It launched with probably the hottest exclusive there is in Mario Kart. It just came out with Donkey Kong, 2-3 months later. That's going to sell easily 5 million, 10 million when it's all said and done. This fall, they're coming out with Metroid Prime 4. That's probably going to be their holiday game. They're having a Nintendo Direct soon. They're probably going to be announcing more games. And you know what? I bet that Nintendo has more games in the can already. They're just trying to spread them out. Because from my knowledge, Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong were both Switch games originally. So they probably already got games completed. They're probably just trying to spread them out. Because, you know, that it doesn't make sense to drop a bunch of games now when the system's sold out. There's no reason to try to drop games out to increase demand because demand can't even keep up, supply can't even keep up with demand. But
It's actually a smart strategy, I think, spreading them out the way they're doing.
Yeah.
I don't think front loading your whole launch library is like, oh, we have 4 games exclusive, you know, right at launch. People are going to burn out on them. You want to keep the Switch relevant, launch them little by little.
yeah, and there's no reason. Like, let's just say like they had like some crazy amount of stock. Okay, then you can do it. Maybe some people like Mario Kart, maybe some people like Donkey Kong, but they're at the point they're not even forced to do that because there's not a point because they can't even keep up with the supply and the demand right now. They could probably sell out without even releasing these games right now, to be honest.
Now, are PlayStation putting games on Xbox? Is that the deal?
That's what the talk is. They're going to put on Xbox. They're going to put them on Switch 2. They're going to put them on Steam. They're going to put it on... I mean, they already have games on Steam and Epic Game Store. I assume they're already going to put games on Xbox because they don't view Xbox as any kind of competition anymore. But once you start putting games on Switch 2, I think it starts getting dicey because I feel like they've given up the fight in Japan. They are completely irrelevant in Japan. They don't sell in Japan. They don't make any money in Japan. They're just done in Japan. But now they're conceding the complete console war worldwide. And I don't mean console war as in like the childish console war. I mean like the competition. It would be like, you know, BMW is now carrying everybody's cars because everybody else can't beat BMW.
Right.
I mean, we saw this a mile away, you know, when the company with Sony, when they moved their operations out all the way out to California.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Nixus was the beginning.
It almost makes me think like either they view other platforms as such a little threat to their brand that they're always going to be a spot for PlayStation in every living room, and that the other consoles are kind of irrelevant to the market, you know, the space they take up in the market, or they're just not overly attached maybe to the future of making consoles. Perhaps they're viewing like, oh, eventually TVs are going to have so much hardware in them or whatever, play anywhere. All these devices are going to be so powerful that we may not even make PlayStations anymore, and we'll just have our games everywhere. We'll be a publisher and make our money that way.
Could be.
And also the fact that cloud gaming with GeForce Now is around.
I don't ever trust cloud gaming.
Me either. I like hardware better because I don't have to worry about the buffers.
Now, I don't mind streaming from your initial hardware at home to other hardware devices, like streaming to a PlayStation Portal, like a Steam Deck, or from one room's TV to another room's TV. That's completely different, but I'm just... I mean, there are some very technical games out here, and, you know, we still get lag in a lot of games. I mean, some of these games still come out very buggy and stuff, and now you're going to tell me that I'm going to have to be playing it on a server. My other thing is I have a problem with game streaming is this. You can't mod a streamed game. I can't get a custom FOV slider. I can't do custom configs. I have a whole host of, I don't know if you can see it up top, but you've seen the whole host of controllers I have and everything. And, you know, sometimes, like, you know, for me to use my Wii U Pro controller on my PC, or, you know, like those Retro Fighters Saturn controller, like, sometimes some of those games require, you know, software additions, configurations. I got these. I don't know if you can see them. You can't see them right down here, but I got flight sticks. I've got throttles and stuff. I have completely separate programs, like just for my flight sticks, right? I have to use the VKB device configuration. I have to use VJoy. I have to use the joystick gremlin. I have to use Joy to Key. I have to use hid hide configuration client to hide the joysticks so that I can combine them to one joystick. I would not have any kind of level of customization or ability if I was on a streamed game. A streamed game, I can only do what the streamed game allows me to do. That actually defeats the entire purpose of the PC, eliminating customization completely.
I would also add to that that I would say it's the worst consumer thing you could do because pretty much you're just renting the game.
That too. J-Man with another $5. People don't all want to game on PC. PlayStation games have been on PC for 5 years now, and the PS5 is still selling on par with the PS4, GTA 6, pre-GTA 6. I mean, you got to figure that, J-Man, that console sales are going to keep increasing because more and more gamers are being born, more and more gamers are coming to age, more and more gamers are getting older. It's exactly why the Super Nintendo sold more than the regular Nintendo. The PlayStation 1 sold more than the Super Nintendo. The PS2 sold more than the PS1, and so forth. Like if we took gaming every generation, the combined user base of every console for every generation, it would increase every generation because there's more and more and more gamers. But again, you're right about GTA. Nobody's going to wait for GTA, I agree. But if you were to put GTA on PC day one, and people can use their, what do they call that? The RP GTA or something? What are the kids playing? I don't know what it's called.
You talking about role play or whatever?
Yeah. They do the role play GTA and all the mods on GTA. Yeah. All that stuff was available day one on a PC. You really think people would be fucking with it on a console, really? I mean, they would, but primarily they'd be on the PC.
Yeah, but Rockstar, you know, it's all a matter of greed. They could easily launch it on PC if they wanted. It's just a double dip kind of thing.
Yeah,
but
they're gonna come out with the PS5 version, then they'll come out with the PS6 version, then they're gonna come out with the PS5 version, PC version, then PS6 version. That's how they'll do it.
I also kind of wonder if like PlayStation's decision to do this is also kind of a product of how just like long it is to take to develop these games now. Like PS3 generation, you got what, 3 Uncharted, you got 2 GTAs, you got all the Mass Effects or whatever. Like nowadays, it just seems like we are at a slow crawl with these releases, and they got to milk everything they can out of it with, you know, remasters, re-release, you know, Game of the Year edition. Like I said, that shit's at a fever pitch. Like games taking forever to come out.
I did say that.
Sadly, not even.
I did say that. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say, sadly, not just also in the AAA stuff, but even in the little indie space too, because some games do take a while for it to come out.
Yeah, I was saying that earlier, that releasing everything on everything is going to stifle innovation and stifle competition. Like, you know, you had Mario, Sonic, you had Halo, you had Killzone, you had Final Fantasy, you had Phantastar, you had Final Fight, you had Streets of Rage, you had SNK, you had Capcom. But back then, like, if a game came out, it was about a year or two to make, a couple months to see it was successful, then, you know, you can make your copy or your comeback. But now, like, you got to wait 3 to 5 years for a game to be made, Then you got to wait a year to see if it's even successful enough to copy. So you're not even beginning to develop your counter to a successful game until like what, 5-6 years down the line? That's too long.
We still haven't even gotten a Naughty Dog game this generation.
No.
It's crazy. Like this generation, realistically, we're about what are we nearing the end of what this cycle should be? Like 6 years or whatever. Like it feels like there has not really been much on this generation of consoles. Like man, that 360 and PS3 era. Maybe we're just spoiled for that era. Maybe I'm thinking back of a time that is just unrealistic. But like man, comparing anything to that, just the library that era had, it's just this doesn't even come close. Not even in the ballpark.
No.
I still love that era.
I mean, J-Man is right. I mean, they will. This isn't suicide, but they will lose hardware sales. Don't mistake this. I'm not saying this is the death of PlayStation or the end of PlayStation, but for like the gamer in the know, the hardcore gamer, or even gamers growing up, because mostly I see most people tend to go to PC gamer as they get older. Like, there's not, and not to mention with the age of the internet and everything, most gamers tend to be more hardcore now than they ever have been. It's just, I mean, we've seen this story. We've seen it with Sega, we've seen it with Xbox, now we're about to see it with PlayStation. And to your point that we haven't seen a Naughty Dog game, you're 100% right. We haven't seen a lot of Sony's developers make games, but yet they're making TV shows. They're making movies. I hear they're making a God of War show now too. Like, Sony is more inclined to be making shows, movies, Netflix, Amazon, whatever, as opposed to making games.
Yeah, it certainly feels that way. I mean, it's not the development studios themselves that work on games that make the TV shows, so it's kind of a different sort of thing. But like, yeah, a lot of money is being invested in those for sure. And
I disagree.
I don't know, me personally,
because Neil Druckmann just said he's stepping away from The Last of Us Season 3 to concentrate on his game. So he definitely got pulled from his game for 2 seasons of that show.
you think he was? I don't know what his involvement was, but typically you would think it would be not the game develop. Yeah, maybe a lead like that, like as a consultant, but.
I mean, the
studios themselves
agree, but the fact that he said he's not going to be a part of Season 3 to concentrate on the game tells me he had responsibilities across both. To what degree, I don't know, but it just means that he wasn't fully either invested into the game, or he wasn't either fully invested into the series, or he was and he had to leave the game. I mean, you can't be in 2 places at one time. And if he's working on a show, he can't be working on the game. If he's working on the game, he can't be working on the show. If he's working at both, he's only working at half rate on each of them, or whatever the divvy or the split would be.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
And, you got people saying, why does Bond care about this? Well, I care because I like to see competition. And if Sony is no longer competing in Japan, and Japan is solely Nintendo, guys, look, as much as I like Nintendo, we've all seen what happens when Nintendo has no competition. And hell, y'all should see it right now. Do y'all think that Mario Kart 8 or Mario Kart World, whatever it is, would be $80 if Nintendo was getting their asses whooped? Fuck no.
Mm-hmm. People forget about that competition is good for the consumer.
Yep. Yeah, I
don't even necessarily think as highly of Donkey Kong as the critics do.
Yeah, same thing with NVIDIA and AMD.
What's going on with them right now?
NVIDIA's kind of like got to the point they kind of like stagnated. Like they really, I don't know, man. They mostly focus on AI too much. That's all I can know.
That's what makes them money.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, you are right. We're talking about competition. The guys talk about why do I care about Sony in Japan. Look at the computer market. NVIDIA controls it. AMD is kind of slacking. Intel fell off. That's how AMD got their foothold in with Ryzen. Now Intel's coming in with graphics cards because I turn on computer games now and I see Intel things popping up. And like I even go in like the DLSS and everything and how AMD has their AMD FSR. I actually see options for Intel's version of FSR and DLSS. So I've been out of the hardware game of looking at technology and stuff day to day, week to week. But Intel apparently is starting to become a player in graphics cards. So yes, there is competition, and when you only have one, that helped NVIDIA just like, dog, 80 series cards used to cost 500. Now they cost what? Over a grand?
You're like, yeah, probably right in the 1200 range right now.
Let me see what it is.
I got mine for 14, but that's when it was pretty new.
Yeah, these things are coming 1200 minimum. And they used to be 500.
80 series NVIDIA?
Say again?
Where am I? We're in the 80 series NVIDIA? I thought we were at the 50 series.
Well, I mean 80,
No,
like
he's
60,
talking about an 80
70,
class,
80,
yeah.
90.
Yeah, an 80 class.
Yeah. So, like,
But
back in the day, like, the 480, the 580, the 680, the 780, the 980, those were all $500 cards through a 5-year period. And
well, it's not even really the problem with the 80 class and even really the 90 class as well is that NVIDIA, yes, Intel's coming up, but man, they are so far away. They are so far away. And AMD, quite frankly, that neither of them can compete at the 80 and 90 class. That's really the problem, especially with their AI suite. And what NVIDIA's been doing, which is really shitty, man, is that their flagship cards, whether it's the Titan X, the 5090, the 4090, whatever their flagship is like the high value card, but they charge exorbitant prices for it. It's the only card that really gets a generation over generation like boost. And then the 80 class, what we have now, the 5080, is really what a 5070 should be. Like, it's hard to even explain, but the 3080 was maybe the last 80 class card that we got is decent. Because the 4080 and the 5080 perform more like 70 class cards, but they're priced like 80 class cards. The only GPUs that have generation after generation really increased in power at the rate they should be is their flagships.
why they never make a 880? Is that because the 8800?
It was. I think they did. It might have been a mobile only sort of situation. I don't know.
I'm curious right now. I'm about to look it up. Well, yeah, why they skipped the 800s? It's probably because the 8800 GTS was probably amazing. Oh no, you're right. They put it in mobile. It took too long to come out, so they just decided to skip past it. It was mobile only. It's weird. But yeah, I'm looking at graphics card prices. The 480, year 1, 500. 580, year 2, 500. 680, year 3, 500. 780, year 4, 500. So for 4 straight years, the top graphics card was 500. 980 was 550. So for about 6 years, graphics card prices really didn't change. And then with the 1080, it became 600. I don't know what the 2080 was. Yep. So, 1080 was 600. 2080 was 700. I remember at 30 it was probably set. Yep. That's when the prices started getting out of control.
Well, the 3080 was a great value card, though. For like comparative to what we have now, for an 80 class, it actually performed like an 80 class, meaning the gap between itself and the 3090, the flagship, was not that big. You're talking maybe like 20% in that range. But now, if you get a 5080, what is the gap between a 5080 and a 5090? It's like the 5090 is like twice as powerful. Why is that the case? You're just one class down. You're paying $1,200 to $1,400, but yet you're like half as powerful.
You want to know how I know it wasn't that much? Because Hard 8 never settles for 80 cards. He only goes for 90 cards, but he's like, why am I spending 1,200 extra, whatever it is, for nothing?
I mean, you're not spending it for nothing. The 90 class is a good. The 5090 is a good card. It's just too expensive.
Yeah.
That's the price point is really what's shitty. The 5080 is really underpowered for what it is. I have one, and to me, it's more. It feels like a 5070.
I don't know if you
I
can
got a
see it
40.
on camera. People wanted the flight stick. The flight stick is like right here, the right one. You can hardly see it in the corner. Go.
Yeah, you brought it up before.
Yeah, go ahead. What were you saying before, Ryan?
Who, me?
Yeah. Oh, I didn't mean to cut you off. I thought you were saying something.
Oh no. I was listening to you guys. We was talking about the future of gaming, where things are going.
It's not going in a good place. I just don't get why people have been saying this is the best generation ever.
It's not. It's the worst.
It's the
I
worst.
agree. I agree.
Like that's just how I feel. Like it's just I miss the days of the PS2. I was into PC as well back then. You know, my grandfather he showed me how to build computers, and I had the PS2, the Xbox, the GameCube, and I played the N64 and stuff. Like I miss those days. Period, man.
That's funny you bringing
The
up PC games.
Xbox, the OG
was
Xbox and the PS2 really was like the best generation in my opinion.
Same, man. They had some crazy commercials, but man, it was good back then.
You said the PS2 generation?
For my money, the PS2 OG Xbox was the best generation, even if you include PC. Just the games that were coming out. You had online play coming to console. I mean, I'm a big OG Xbox advocate. I just thought that console was amazing and ahead of its
agree.
time in every way. People call me an Xbox guy fanboy for saying this, but fuck, I don't care. I don't even care about Xbox. Just the OG Xbox was amazing. Man, Halo 1, when it came out, it was like a PC.
Yep.
When that thing came out, it was like a PC. That generation was just amazing. And then you could also have your PS2. You can get one real cheap, even back then, like 150 bucks. Because so many people had them. They were out there all over the place, people selling them. So you get one cheap. If you needed to play your Sony exclusive, you go over there. Then you had Nintendo. Yeah, the GameCube wasn't overly successful, but there were some must-haves on that, like Melee and shit. Like, they had some games. Metroid Prime.
Oh hell
Well,
yeah.
Stuff like that.
That's one of the two generations I had no problem with. Like, you know, from PS2 to Xbox to 360, you know, from PS3 that era. I mean, there was a lot of good, unique games that came out. I mean, even for people who didn't like Xbox, I'm like, you gotta remember what games and stuff that came out in the first original Xbox and the 360.
I think that era was the best for multitudes of reasons. One, I mean, I like the N64 PS1 era, but it was such a jump from like the PS1 era to the PS2 era as far as like functionality and games, what you could do and stuff. But not only did you have the PS2, which was a monster, you had Xbox, which was doing its own thing and its own online thing. You had the GameCube with its own exclusives. Dreamcast was also a part of that generation, and it got to the point where at one point Dreamcasts were being sold for $50, so you had access to that whole library of games for $50 entry if you didn't get into it early, like on launch of Soul Calibur. Not only that, but we were at a time where PC games were fundamentally different and majorly catered solely to the PC experience, as opposed to, you know, porting consoles or one game being on both. So you had literally 5 different unique platforms at the time between the Dreamcast, the PS2, the GameCube, the Xbox, and the PC. Not to mention the Game Boy Advance was pretty good back then too. The Game Boy Advance was putting out games as well.
Remember.
So
yeah, I remember.
That generation just had so much gaming. 4 consoles, a PC, and and a handheld, because the Game Boy Advance was good. It had widescreen, it had 4 buttons, it had shoulder buttons. You know, I enjoyed, like, you know, the Mega Man Zeros, the Battle Networks, a lot of the RPGs that came out to it. Like, what do I have over here? The Castlevanias,
Yeah,
the
like
Golden
Sony.
Suns, the Metroids. Like, there were a lot of good Game Boy Advance games. So
Oh,
that to
So,
me, that to me will always be the best generation. Second best would have to be either the 16-bit generation or the 32-bit generation.
I would say 16-bit to me aged better, but the PS1 has some classic. I mean, I love Nintendo 64 and PS1, but like there are a lot of games on 16-bit that just aged so well.
Yep.
Guys saying my mic sounds pretty terrible. I don't understand or know why. It's never really felt terrible. He's saying it's a Net Yaruzi mic, or maybe he's talking about one of you guys. I don't know.
I think it's talking about the sound bouncing because I know it kind of bounced off, I guess, Makester, but hasn't been hearing it popping up in a while.
I don't know. I mean, it's people. Chat. What is the mic sounding bad? Is it sounding good, or what's going on?
I don't know. In Discord, when I hopped in, you sound so much better than you did on the YouTube video. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I mean, the only other thing I could say is maybe my air conditioning is on. It's producing feedback because it is hot as hell in here.
that's fine.
Or like, are you hearing like a fan noise, like an echo or a feedback or something? It's,
Like I said, in Discord, you sound great.
it's
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like you were kind of low volume for me on YouTube. I don't know. Maybe it was just my shit, but
yeah, they're saying it's a little staticky in the back. That's probably the AC running. Look, I apologize for the sound quality if you're hearing buzzing or air moving, but what's the Alexa temperature? Yeah, it's freaking 86 degrees, humid as hell. It's been like 100 degrees all day. That's something you're gonna have to live with. I apologize.
Hey, wait, so you don't got the AC or you got a fan?
I got both. Somebody's saying it sounds
no.
like 97 Creative Sound Blaster shit. But other people are saying it sounds good. So that's kind of weird. Some people are saying it's good, some people are saying it's not good, but it's what it is.
remember back then we used to have octa drives. We used to like when you build computers, you had to buy like an octa drive to put the Windows in to install Windows.
Yeah, that was never fun.
you saying a disk drive?
Octa drive.
Just
Remember, like they put the octa drives. When you build a computer, you can put like the octa drive, plug it into the power, SATA power, and the other cables to the motherboard.
Hmm.
Yeah, they don't do that no more. Like most computers now, they don't have like the cases. They don't have the octa drives no more.
You could probably
Like,
get an external one.
yeah, that's the only way.
Yeah, now you have thumb drives, you can do it that way. But what do y'all think the end game is for all this? Because once again, I'm going back to what I was saying with Microsoft. If they're putting their games on every platform, I'm not releasing a Series X2 for next generation. I'm just releasing a Series S2. I'm making my platform cheap. I'm making my platform economical. I'm making my platform as affordable as possible to get as many people on it, to get as many people into Game Pass, etc. If you all want to play my Xbox games with higher fidelity, buy a PlayStation, buy a PC.
Well,
Mhm.
think of it as a way. Think about how the CEOs and all them other people are trying to do. I think they're just gonna try to do what can give them a lot more money and easily, well, for nothing. So I think they're gonna probably go like the app or stream service type way. That's how I see it.
Personally, if I was Xbox, I don't know how you'd work out the business end of this. It'd be very complicated, but I would really try to strike a deal with Valve to just make Xbox not only what it currently is, but also just like what Steambox was supposed to be. So maybe you offer a few options. You got your $300 option for the S. You got the X at 500. And maybe you have like the fucking whatever at $800 or whatever, the Pro or whatever it is at $800, and then it can run your Steam library, or for at least for the most part. The game will tell you, oh, it's compatible with this. These are the settings it runs on this. And so you can have your Xbox as a console, you play your Xbox shit, but you could also access Steam games. I don't know how the business end would work with that, but I think that's kind of the evolution that I would envision for Xbox. Also, you need to bring in controller or mouse and keyboard support, proper, support. I think they already do. But not only that, but you need to bring in mouse and keyboard only games. Have Counter-Strike be playable. Have Team Fortress be playable. Have StarCraft 2 and World of Warcraft be playable. Like, that would that would give them a purpose in making hardware. You know what I mean?
I don't think Valve benefits any way from Xbox. I mean, they already have Xbox's games on Steam. Why do they need to do anything else?
Well, I'm just thinking like it might get more people that would ordinarily buy consoles into the Steam ecosystem. So if they're a PlayStation gamer, they might say, holy shit, Xbox is offering compatibility with Steam. I'm switching. Now, the business end, I don't know how you do it. Because there have to be some sort of profit sharing. But they've said they've talked about this. I don't know to what extent they have or if they're ever going to be able to work anything out. But that would be the future I'd envision for Xbox. Because otherwise, they're just going to lose the Xbox division, I think, at this point. Or be a publisher. This, you'd have to do something radical. Think outside the box.
This Russell 13 guy makes a good point. He says the end game for Microsoft is everyone is content with not owning games.
Yeah.
It's a good point. Just nobody owns games and everybody is just, oh God. I am not excited for this future of gaming. And like it really bothers me that whenever it is I eventually get a Switch 2, that these like I normally buy most of my Legend of Heroes games on the Switch and the PC. I get the collector's Switch, whatever. I support the franchise, but I'm not buying the collector's edition when it comes on a game key card. That is absolutely absurd.
Okay, I had this discussion before with like a couple of buddies of mine on Discord, ironically, but this goes by the same thing why I care about game preservation and all that stuff. They're literally trying to do that, and it's not just gaming, game companies in general. It could be the movie industry, whatever. They're making sure that you don't own nothing at all, and they can have all the profits and all the say so. That means no modding your games, no fucking with anything. They control the whole market, and you just got to sit there and take it. That's literally what it's going to happen.
I think I remember hearing on something. Ubisoft updated their terms where even if you own the physical game, if they discontinue that game, you have to destroy that copy or something like that.
What?
Yeah.
Doesn't even make sense. I mean, full sweat, try hard is also right. They want you content with not owning games and content with not having local hardware. I think the point of getting rid of local hardware is a good one because I don't know what the R&D for hardware is, but it can't be cheap. Let's look. Yeah, the PS3 was 3.3 billion in R. That's insane. Yeah, so I can imagine that these companies at some point want to get into a point where they don't have to R&D for any of these consoles. That is one of the benefits of Steam, is that there is no R&D. It's just a perpetual state of a platform.
Mm.
There's no resetting cycles or generations or no, our platform is now back to zero at the work of it. It's just a perpetual, ongoing platform. And I know the console manufacturers are trying to feel like, how do we get this? Unfortunately, their only answer is cross-play or cross-generation 4 or 5 years into the generation. I mean, they just made an announcement that Battlefield 6 will not be on PS4 and Xbox One. I'm like, that really needs to be announced? Shouldn't that just be a given? We're 4 or 5 years into this generation.
Call of Duty's still releasing on the PS4 and Xbox One.
That's crazy.
Well, remember, a lot of people ain't buying those other consoles. Remember, a lot of people bought the PS5.
People got to stop being broke.
That's been one of the ongoing issues with this current generation, is that they're overly attached to the install base of the previous generation, and maybe you wouldn't have that problem if you gave people good reason to get to the next generation. But they haven't released enough games. Like, they just don't have the library. People have no confidence in it.
No, I agree, because pretty much I haven't got a PS5, so I still got a 4, so it's like no point in me, jumping over yet. And but I have a PC.
The only reason I see like PS4 games still being released is like, example, some of these Legend of Heroes games. Do you really need to release on PS5 only? The game would
indie games and shit. You're right. You might as well.
The game can release on PS4. If you want to play it under PS5, go for it. But they fundamentally would not be changed from 4 to 5. Barring maybe, I don't know, being a 4K, or if, like, they just wouldn't change at all. Like something like Sea of Stars, for example. Does it really need a PS5 version? No, the PS4 version's fine. Because your PS4 version, all likely, could be played under 4 and 5, but your PS5 version would only be able to be played under 5.
Do any of you guys ever wonder, like, what it's like to be at Microsoft internally? Like, put yourself in Phil Spencer's shoes. What it's like having to go to the meetings with, like, higher-ups and explain shit?
I think it's actually good. Because this nigga survived layoffs for a decade plus. He realizes no matter what he does, he's collecting a fat check. And he's not going to get laid off. Now, if you're going to ask me what is it like to be your average Microsoft worker, developer, probably scary as shit. Scary as hell not knowing if you're going to get laid off. Scary as hell that 3-4 years into this project that it's going to get canceled. Scary as hell that this game that just got announced is not ever going to be finished. Scary as hell that your studio is going to be gone. Scary as hell that you could be one of 9,000 people gone the next day, any day. Scared as hell that not only did they lay off a whole bunch of people, now they're talking about, all this AI is going to come in. Like, you got to be walking on eggshells every day at Microsoft if you're not an executive and you're one of the expendable people at the lower end of the bar.
I'm pretty sure at that point Phil Spencer felt like that but until he knew how to talk to those people really well to
he must be on his knees over time. Like somebody said, stocks are up, so Phil is good. But think about the investments Microsoft has made to keep their gaming division on track. Bethesda and Activision, Blizzard. Like, look at the dollar amounts those investments were, and they have yet to really get much out of them. And the reviews for their games, the critical and gamer reception is never usually very great. I mean, they've had a couple of good, but not many great. So they've invested billions, like tons of money to keep this thing going. They've really been committed. But like, if I was Phil Spencer, like, you would think he goes to these meetings and just gets fucking reamed. I mean, how could he not? It's shocking they haven't shit-canned him already.
Nah, he'll never be gone.
So by the time Microsoft releases a really good game, what cost would that have been? Because we had canceled games, we had closed studios, we had acquisitions, we had laid off people. How are they gonna? That's a huge cost.
the crazy thing is too, like he'd be showing up to studios and be like, "Oh, this game is looking great. Oh, this game is coming along fine. Like, oh, I'm proud of our studio." And like 3 months later, "Yep, you're canceled."
Yeah.
Yeah, what was that game, that rhythm game?
Just Dance.
No, that one where it's like a platformer action game, but it's got some rhythm. It's like cell shaded. God, what the hell was the name of
Oh,
that
it looked
game?
like Jet
By
Set.
the Evil Within
It
guys.
looked like Jet Set
Yeah, it looked kind
Radio.
of like that. Yeah, it looked very similar to Jet Set.
I'm trying to remember what was that Dragon game. Remember that one that came out way back on the fucking.
Oh, Scalebound. You talking about the
Scalebound,
canceled
yeah.
one? Yeah.
Yep.
Hi-Fi Rush. That's what
Yeah,
it was.
that's
Yeah,
it.
they released it. It got critical. You know, it was well received, but they were like, "Yeah, you guys are done. Pack it up."
Back it up, Jesus.
That shit was sad.
Oh man. He said pack. Hi-Fi flush. That's what I used to call it. Just imagine Phil Spencer. Yo, they must be terrified to see Phil Spencer just walk into any building. They probably sweating their asses off seeing any email pop up. Like, oh no, we got an email. Like, attention, email, attention, this or that. Like, it probably just like you see Phil Spencer around their development studio. You're probably like, oh, pack your shit up. Pack it up, boys. We done. Oh.
Is that going to motivate any future developer to make a good game on Xbox? Like, if they're gonna cancel us anyway, you might as well not try hard to make a game or something. I don't know.
Well, that's kind of what Kind of Funny Games said. He's like, if you're like a developer or a publisher, why would you ever want to work with Microsoft? Like, your shit's gonna get canceled. You're gonna get shit canned. The game could get canceled. Like, maybe if they're giving you a good check and you just don't mind just cashing checks, you'd be good. Outside of that, I don't know.
That's what it kind of felt like with that Redfall game, where like they got bought out by Microsoft and they were like, "Fuck it, we ain't doing shit.
Yep.
Whatever we got now is what's done,
Yep.
and that's the game."
Y'all bought us out. You paid us. We know you're getting rid of us afterwards anyway, so fuck it. We phoning it in.
Yeah, they didn't even make cutscenes for the game. They just drew like some art images, like they threw up concept art, and then like had voiceovers over the cutscenes. That's what the cutscenes were, just concept art.
That's crazy. That is wild.
And then Phil Spencer's like, "Well, you got to tell you, the negative reception of this game really blindsided us."
Oh, I remember
Like,
those
bro,
days.
did you play it?
Apparently not. 56K warning. Oh, such a disappointing post. Can't believe Microsoft let Halo die. Oh, sometimes I'd be scrolling through Instagram, man, and I'd be seeing shit like this game came out 23 years ago. Or I see people like playing and it's like all nostalgic music in the background, like kids today will never know. We never knew how good we had it. Dudes are rolling. Like, now dudes are out every Friday and Saturday chasing chicks. Like, it was like your Friday night in college or one of your Saturday nights in college. You're getting the LAN parties. It's like these days will never be back.
Shit, I still remember them days when you had to stay up for the midnight release.
Yep.
Remember when Halo 2 came out? Yeah.
Still got my steelbook copy. We all went there. November. We went to the Walmart. We all got our games at midnight release. We hooked it up to the University of Pittsburgh systems, and we were playing all night till like 4 in the morning, which was pretty crazy because when I first got to college, I didn't even know. I thought every dorm room had isolated internet, like your own private internet connection. I didn't know that it was like all one giant LAN. And then you're like connecting outside of like the campus's computer system, whatever. So when I plugged in my Xbox to it, I was like, wait, why am I seeing other Xboxes? And then I walked down to the dude's room. I was like, yo, are you playing Halo? He's like, yeah. I'm like, it says our Xboxes are connected. So like I told somebody else to turn on theirs and plug in, and 3 Xboxes connected. I'm like, oh shit. We can use this whole thing as campus LAN. So then we used to.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons
Yeah,
One of the reasons why the OG Xbox was so good.
Yep.
It was such a good
Mhm.
console.
So we used to get 4 Xboxes. We'd play. We'd have fun. You know, it was awesome. 4 people to a small ass TV. And then, you know, the lames across the hall were playing SOCOM on PlayStation. Like, you losers. Playing on a laggy college connection while we're playing Halo. Then Halo 2 came out. You didn't need 4 people on one screen. You could all connect LAN, and every individual person could have their own screen. As opposed to 4 TVs with 4 screens, you could have 16 people on 16 screens. Or playing an online match or whatever. So... yeah, man, those were the days. And we had like Call of Duty 1 and United Offensive Land. Ah, man. Those were the days.
Yeah, man. And I like the PS2, not to shit on the PS2, but like when you look at like games like SOCOM compared to Halo, it felt like the Xbox, the OG Xbox was like, it came out a year late, but it felt like almost a whole generation ahead.
Yep.
Crazy.
Like shit, that's one of the reasons why I had an Xbox, because I remember when my dad's friend came over and brought the console, and oh look, Halo. I was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely getting this console.
Which are little
Yeah, me
cell
too.
phone
Like,
headsets and everything.
Yeah, but that was lit back then. Like,
Yep.
you weren't doing much better than that. Like, we didn't have these wireless, Astro A70s or whatever the hell.
Nah, you just had that little cell phone headset you plugged in, like the one earpiece, and you plugged it right into the bottom of the controller.
Yeah. And they came with the Xbox Live bundle. Yeah, man.
No, we used to do so much with so little back then. And now we have so much and we get so little today. Like, I remember, somebody brought up Counter-Strike. I remember, like, when dudes were doing LAN parties in the neighborhood, and a dude had an 8 megabyte. That's MDZ. That's your mic that's going off. M. Yeah, that's your mic that's staticky. Maybe that's what they're hearing. But yeah, dudes back then had 8 megabyte video cards, and now I have an 8 gigabyte card. That's how far we've come.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, dog, like, yo, you remember when you would get on your, y'all played Halo 3, right?
Yep.
When you would log on and you would see how many people were on and where they were playing from, and it was just like,
oh yeah,
1.3 million players online. Let's see if I can find that.
Yeah, they showed that whole little globe lit up.
Yeah, this John right here. It says matchmaking, damn, 450s. Xbox Live Open Party, 270,000 players. That's nuts. I wonder what their max player count was.
Well, I'm going to have to drop out for a bit, so...
Yeah, I'm about to end the stream now. I think we're pretty much done. I can't find anything that was the highest player count.
Talking about Halo 3 or Halo 2?
Halo 3 or 2.
I know it was in the 6 figures. It might have hit 7. Who knows?
Yeah, it said Halo 3 average numbers online from 2007-8 were about 8 to 900,000. That's insane. And you have to figure, like, the Xbox was popular, but it's not like, wasn't PS2 or Steam PC popular. That's nuts. But yeah, about to shut it down, guys. Appreciate y'all coming out. I mean, hopefully gaming gets better, because we are tough roads ahead.
Yeah, I don't know if this is going to lead to better gaming. I'm not a big fan of the idea of exclusives, but they do produce competition. But the way it's been going, there doesn't seem to have that much competition anyway, so who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, without
I just hope we don't go on YouTube.
without exclusives, there's no competition, there's no market differentiation. Everything is the same, and I guess that's what they want. They just want everything to be the same. That way, they don't have to work
I just hope
harder.
we don't go into another crash, gaming crash. Oh no, that would horrible.
Yeah, because in reality, if gaming was still competitive and Xbox was still fighting, Helldivers came out and was successful, they would have had Halo ODST Hell Jumpers. That's what they're called in the story, aren't they? Aren't the ODSTs the orbital drop ship troopers? Aren't they called Hell Jumpers? They would have literally had Halo Hell Jumpers.
I mean, Halo is pretty much the exact same theme. I mean, there's a lot of games like that. StarCraft and Halo are pretty much the same.
Yeah, are all
Starship
ODSTs called Hell Jumpers? Yeah, they even come down in drop pods. You
Yeah.
literally come down to planets and drop pods. And Master Chief's like gets nailed. He's like, oh, I just hit, but I'm still good. Yeah, like if gaming was competitive, Halo would have had an ODST Hell Jumpers video game.
Well, see, you bringing that up, shit, makes me wish that they did other, unique stuff with Halo, because that was like one of the funnest things is playing ODST.
Yep.
Well, they did do Halo Wars. I mean, it didn't like take off or anything, but I actually appreciate what Halo Wars is. But...
Yeah, I appreciate it, but I wanted something a little bit more close to like the other Halos.
I'm not against Microsoft. Like, what was the Gears of War? I thought Gears of War Tactics was good too.
I agree. That was something different. I'm like, oh, cool.
The problem is like, no offense to Smooth, but like, the fan base of most of these games and most of these consoles are kind of like too brain dead for that kind of game.
Yeah, now, yeah.
Like Smooth said that he played Gears of War Tactics for 5 minutes and that was it.
Yeah.
Absolute crazy.
Yeah, if they're not like shooting something or getting a set piece within, I don't know, a minute into the game, they're like, oh, this shit's trash.
A set piece a minute in the game. Oh god.
Like the game has to pretty much start off on a set piece. A turret. What they want is a fucking turret section, right?
A turret section. It's like the lamest sections in gaming.
I know, but they're always set pieces. It's like what's that game? It's one of my favorite games. Spec Ops: The Line. It starts out with a turret section, but they do it kind of ironically. They really play it off really well. Like, look at us, like just like every other fucking game you've played. But yeah, it's definitely one of those set piece like intro like cliches.
Speaking of like Spec Ops: The Line, one thing I did like about the 360 era, it had a run of, I don't know what you would call it, AA or B tier games that weren't amazing, but games that were fun. Like, Sleeping Dogs, what was that other kind of game? Dead, fuck, what was it called? There's
Dead Island?
No, but like games like Army of Two.
Oh yeah, Army of Two.
Like they weren't amazing games. Like they're fun games to play.
You know what I really miss was tacked on multiplayer.
Oh, I wish we get tacked on multiplayer now. Now they just scrap it.
Yeah, they just removed it from the game, and they're like, "Oh, we'll just let the multiplayer-only games be the only thing."
Yep.
With their microtransactions, and they're free to play, and it's just like, this is not fun.
Nope.
But anyway, I really got to go.
Yep.
Peace out, guys. Good talking to you.
Good talking to you guys. Appreciate you guys coming out. Try to make streams more regular, but it is summertime. But thank you guys for coming out. I'll catch you guys next time, and appreciate everybody coming out.
Take care.
Later, guys.